Okay, so these are the low-pass filter capacitors, and this depends on the band that we are working on. I'm working on 20 meters, and so I'm going to use the 181s, which are these two here. Finally getting some parts off of that board. All right, so this is C14 and C18. So here is C14. Because of the type of capacitors these are, they do not have a polarity. They don't have a direction that they install in. C18, C14. Turn the soldering iron down to 640 again, because hopefully I'm done burning enamel wire for a long time. Low pass filter capacitors C11 and C12. These are 391s. I put them in and I bend the pins over a little bit so they hold themselves in place. So you can see this one here is right smack in the middle of the ground plane. So that's why I got stuck. Not enough heat to fully melt the solder. I just have to dwell a little bit longer. Okay, C11 and C12 are done. C19 and C20 are not installed. Excellent. They're only installed for the 30 and 80 meter version of this kit. And this is the 20 meter version. And that might have just saved my bacon. What number is that? C19. C19 is the one that I janked up a little bit earlier in the series. So now I don't need to worry that I didn't unjank it all that well. Low pass filter C9 and C21 for 80 meters only. So I don't need those two either. C1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 13, and 16. And they are labeled 105. And one of the cool things that Hans does with these manuals is he has a printout of the board, a footprint, a layout, whatever, and then he highlights the parts that you're working on in red so you can quickly see where they are on the board. And that is a big help. So C6 goes there. C7 goes underneath. I don't know why I spread those legs first. That was wrong. I'm going to very gently hold these in my pliers and use that to get into that hole that's buried underneath of that toroid. Nice tight fit. C13. Why am I spreading them out again? This is a different footprint. So what'll happen is these ones drop straight in because they are the right footprint for the right component for the right spacing on the board, etc., etc. This one, on the other hand, is not dropping right in because it is the wrong footprint. It doesn't matter, and it saved you some money on kit costs, but it does mean you have to do some finagling to get it installed, and that is perfectly fine. Okay, let's solder these ones all the way home. C4 and C5, these are 223s, which I labeled as 22 nanofarad. Let's see, are they 223s? Yep, they are 223. C8 and C10 are 47 with code 470, which are these two little ones. All right, those two are done. Next, all the diodes. Bend them up first, install them second, solder them home. And the stripe goes down. So on the footprint, you can see the symbol for a diode, and then you can see the outline of the body of the diode, and then you can see a white stripe. And on the diodes themselves, which are these ones here, 1N4148, they're glass bodies, and they have a black stripe on the bottom. And so that's what we need to do. Line up the black stripe on the body with the white stripe on the silkscreen. And again, there's probably some tool for bending these leads and shaping them to the right specification. I just don't have it, and I don't build enough kits to need it. Kind of like how they have a kitchen gadget for every possible thing you could do in your kitchen. Or you could just cook. be a little quick when soldering diodes. And then with those pliers, all I was doing was kind of gently persuading them into the location I wanted them to be. Nothing seriously physical, it's just the pliers can get a better grip on the wire than my fingers can. And then these are the other kind of diodes, the black bodied with the white stripe, and you do them the exact same way. And I don't know why I did that, but it's fixable, so let's fix it. Before we get too far away from this mess. There, that was stupid. Inductors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 inductors. It's going to be these ones. And these are all over the board. Yay! Okay. It appears that I got them all. Resistors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 resistors. That's these 10Ks right here. Okay, these are the big boy resistors. 1.5K. No, these aren't the big boy resistors. Right now we get into transistor Q3, which is a FQPF2N60C. Not that one. FQPF2N60C. It's this one. It goes on the bottom of the board, and it goes in what I would consider backwards, under T1. This one here is T1. Then it goes under T1, so it goes there. Into Q3, which is that one. So I'm going to put it through and double check, and that's not the right set of holes, which is why you double check. Put it through there, and then bend it over like that. And this one here is Q4, which goes in those holes we tried to put the other one. IRFU 9024, and I think it's this one. It just says FU 9024. That's what it says. Q5 and Q6 are the BS 170s. My old friends. We'll pull the middle leg up a little bit. And then bend it back down. And this should match the shape of the footprint on the board. That way you know that it's going in the right orientation, because they both go in different orientations. I felt like these two pins had a solder bridge connecting them together, and all you have to do is swipe through with the soldering iron, and that will remove the solder bridge. And I haven't soldered that one in yet. Okay, BS170s are in, and now the 78 LO5, which is in fact a voltage regulator like I thought it was going to be. K 1 watt resistors are these ones. 1, 2, 3. R1, R6, and R9. There is R1. And these are slightly bigger than the footprint on the board. All right, let's keep on keeping on. Oh, 2 watt resistors. That's why these things are so big. This is 12 and 13. What's next? 22 ohm, 2 watt is this one. Well, there's only 2 of the big boys left. They must be the next 2. And they must go in those 2 big holes at the top. R4 and R2 to be exact. Try and bend these very precisely with the pliers. And see if that helps any. This one side was already bent, so I guess I won't know. And now the trimmer resistor, which is in the bag of goodies. That can only go in one way. And then where did it go? It's hiding from me in plain sight. Alright, big boy capacitor time. And I think that's the last of this sheet. This sheet, these 2 here are for bands that I am not using. So I think we're done. Alright, C15 and C17. Well, there's a hole I janked up from before. So let's clean up the hole the same way we did last time. There we go. DC power jack. I don't like the footprint on these, but it is what it is. I hate it when they put 2 pads close together like that, because I can never tell if they're doing it right or wrong, or if I'm doing it right or wrong. Again, we'll troubleshoot it later on. We'll figure it out as we go. Alright, BNC jacks. LEDs. The shorter of the 2 wires bend right down at the body of the LED. And then the longer one bend over so that it fits into the footprint. And they should be right up against the edge of the board. And it is. Let's do the green one while we're at it. Take the shorter one and bend it over right at the body of the LED. And you'll be able to move these a little bit after they're installed in the case. Hopefully it will look something like this. Yep, it looks something like that. Okay, so this is where it gets interesting. The PA transistor installation, only if you did not get the case. So let's go for the case option instead of reading the wrong one. Oh, well, this is interesting. You got to bolt them to the case first. All right, where are my heat sinks? My fingers of death. Okay, set them on your workbench like so. Done. Bolt the heat sinks to the outside surface of the enclosure using two 6mm screws. Like so. Okay, so these are the ones that we need. So we need to use the shorter screws to screw on the heat sinks. Only use the two on the right hand side to start with, and then we need the final amplifiers, which I think are these two here, because they're also the only two parts we have left. 510, 510, bend the pins 90 degrees upwards. There's one. There's two. Place the light blue colored silicone pads over holes 3 and 4. Oh wow. Good thing I got that electrical tape from the previous step. They have to be taped down or else they will move. So we need some electrical tape. I'm going to use ever so stylish black this time. I want just enough over the outside edge to hold it in place, because we need to leave some behind in order to conduct away heat. That should do it. Ah, this is getting more fun all the time. So you place these through the board and do not solder them in place. And these also go on the underside of the board. And I can still see the pads through the top. That should be fine. Still don't solder them in. And we need those two little plastic washers, which I taped down to the paper so I wouldn't lose them. And these take the longer screws, and we put the washer on the longer screw. And now we can screw this in. Same thing for the other one. Longer screw, washer, and screw it home. And then we need to screw in the other two to finish off the heatsink. We still haven't soldered anything in. All right, continuity test. Make sure we didn't screw anything up. It beeps. Touch that to the center pin. No beep. Touch that to the center pin. No beep. Beeper works. No beep. No beep. Perfect. Solder the rightmost pin first. And I'm going to do it as if I can read the labels there, considering that right, and that's the one that's connected to ground, so that's the one that's going to take the longest. Now I'm going to do my continuity test again. Good. So now there's no solder bridges there. I think this is the one I already did. Yep. And whenever I'm testing those, I always give an actual beep to make sure that I'm not missing a step, make sure that everything's working the way it's supposed to work. Nice little plastic case. I'll keep that forever and ever, because that's what a good hoarder does. All right, let's attach the front and rear panels wherever they went off to. There we go. I like that those are countersunk screws. They're kind of self-centering. Pull off the nuts and the washers. Okay, now that doesn't line up. Looking good. There we have it. Build is complete. There is a video right over here I think you should check out next. Probably the one where I actually turn this thing on and test it. This is just the build video. I appreciate you all stopping by. Thanks for being awesome. I'll be over there waiting for you.